recording is on.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Carnatic 101. This will be the last episode for season 2. Now, in Carnatic music, when they end a concert, typically they sing a ragam which is supposed to be what is called as auspicious, or in Tamil we call it as a Mangalakaramana ragam. So, an auspicious raga, which is typically sung at the end of the concert, is Madhyamavati. Surati is also another raga that they sing. But today we will take up Madhyamati. We will look at all aspects of Madhyamati as usual. A quick thing is Madhyamati is a pentatonic scale raga, which just means 5 notes, and it's a part of the pentatonic cycle, which we spoke about in Mohanam and we spoke about in Hindolam sessions. Now, without much ado on this, let's start this time by listening to a song. And once we listen to this song, we listen to the very famous Bhagyada Lakshmi Baramma, which is a Devarnama. And once we finish this song, Meera will give us more details about Madhyamati, how the raga sounds, what are the technical details, and so on. So let's start with this song this time.
భాగ్యలక్ష్మీ బారమ్మ నమ్మమ్మని సౌభాగ్య లక్ష్మీ బారమ్మ నమ్మమ్మని సౌభాగ్య లక్ష్మీ బారమ్మ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆ ನಿಂಪುದ ಗೆಜ್ಜೆ ಕಾಲಿನ ನಾದವ ತೋರುದ ಸಜ್ಜನ ಸಾಧು ಪೂಜೆ ವೇಳೆಗೆ ಮಜ್ಜಿಗೆಯೊಳಗಿನ ಬೆಣ್ಣೆಯಂತೆ ಭಾಗ್ಯದ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀ ಬಾರಮ್ಮ ನಮ್ಮ ಮನೆ ಸೌಭಾಗ್ಯದ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀ ಬಾರಮ್ಮ ಕನಕ ವೃಷ್ಟಿ ಕರಯುತ ಬಾರೆ ಮನಕೆ ಮಾನವ ಸಿದ್ಧಿಯ ತೋರ ದಿನಕರ ಕೋಟಿ ದೇಯದಿ ಕೊಳೆಯುವ ಜನಕಜರಾಯನ ಕುಮಾರಿ ಬೇಗ ಭಾಗ್ಯದ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀ ಬಾರಮ್ಮ ನಮ್ಮಮ್ಮನಿ ಸೌಭಾಗ್ಯದ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀ ಬಾರಮ್ಮ ಅತ್ತಿತ್ತಗಳದ ಭಕ್ತರ ಮನೆಯೊಳು ನಿತ್ಯ ಮಗೋತ್ಸವ ನಿತ್ಯ ಸುಮಂಗಲ ಸತ್ಯವ ತೋರುದ ಸಾಧು ಸಜ್ಜನರ ನಿತ್ತನೆ ಕೊಳೆಯುವ ಪುತ್ಥಳಿ ಬೊಂಬೆ ಭಾಗ್ಯದ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀ ಬಾರಮ್ಮ ನಮ್ಮ ಮನೆ ಸೌಭಾಗ್ಯದ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀ ಬಾರಮ್ಮ ಶಂಖೆ ಇಲ್ಲದ ಭಾಗ್ಯವ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಕಂಕಣ ಕೈಯ ತಿರುಗುದ ಬಾರೆ ಕುಂಕುಮಾಂಕಿತ ಪಂಕಜ ಲೋಚನೆ ವೆಂಕಟರಮಣನ ಪಿಂಗದ ರಾಣಿ ಭಾಗ್ಯದ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀ ಬಾರಮ್ಮ ನಮ್ಮಮ್ಮನೆ ಸೌಭಾಗ್ಯದ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀ ಬಾರಮ್ಮ.
Yeah. So this is a song based on Madhyamavati, the raga, and is a raga, as I said, which we are going to discuss today. Now I'll pass this over to Meera so that she can give us more details about the raga, how it sounds, and what are the technicalities involved. Up to you, Meera.
Yeah, thanks, sir. So Madhyamavati is a pentatonic scale. What we mean by that is it has five. It takes 5 notes on the ascent and descent, and it's a symmetrically. It is a symmetric sort of scale. So, sa re ma pa ni sa ni pa ma re sa. So sa re ma pa ni sa ni pa ma re sa ta ra ta ra 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 ta ra ra a ra 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 da da ra ra So this is how it is usually started. It has this the re ma re sa. It's a very common phrase. In fact, we will later listen to a song called Dharma Samvardhani. So it beautifully brings out that re's oscillation there. So anyway, so Madhyamavati, like Sir mentioned, is considered very auspicious. So the question is, yeah, Mangalam, you would have heard Bhagyada Lakshmi, Karpagame, all that is sung towards the latter part of the concert, and sometimes even as the last piece. Um, but is it the only place where it occurs? Not really. Madhyamavati has is a very versatile raga in that sense. We have many long and involved pieces. It has another distinction that all the three of the Trinity have composed in it. So there are some very big pieces that are sung. Madhyamavati is also sung as a sub-main and very much sung as the main part of a concert. There is even a Varnam in Madhyamavati. So overall, it is a very dynamic raga in the sense it can be sung pretty much anywhere and it will lift up the concert wherever it is sung. So it's great that way. And it has enough depth to be sung as a main piece also. So Sharavana Baba Guhane, Papanasip Shivan has also handled a few kritis in this. And you will find many Annamaya, Purandardasa, Bhutrachala, some of the pre-Trinity composers' poetry compositions have been set to tune in Madhyamavati as well. So overall, very versatile sort of raga. Uh, Another thing, apart from Mangalam or that auspiciousness, is that peppiness, that sort of energy that the raga can have. Depends on how it is handled. So we will listen to all these shades. Um, Sir, I will move on now to play another thing, or did you want to
Yeah,
mention? Yeah,
one a couple of
sure.
things. One is this song, Bhagyata Lakshmi Baramma. If you heard this, you could have seen the pace being good and almost a folk type of a lilt. As Meera is saying, a peppiness is possible in this raga. It is not that. The raga is also something which can be very peaceful, like Meera sang for you the first line of Dharma Samvardhani. That's a beautiful piece, and it gives a very calm effect. So you can get a very calm effect in this raga. At the same time, you can also get a lot of peppiness involved in this raga. We'll see that in some of the film songs that we see and some of the Carnatic songs that we see. Another interesting aspect here is, of course, not on Madhyamavati, but on this particular song, the Bhagyata Lakshmi Varamma. This song is sung by Bhimsen Joshi, the most eminent Hindustani musician, and he sings in a different raga, and a totally different mood is created for that. If you are interested in the Hindustani type of a version, then I suggest that you can look up Bhimsen Joshi's version, and that will be something which you will enjoy. In Hindustani music, this, if I'm not very much mistaken, is called Madhmad Sarang. If you look at Madhmad Sarang, there are two, three sarangs there which relate closely to Brindana Saranga and Madhyamavati. Madhmad Sarang, I would think, is quite close to Madhyamavati of Carnatic music. I just wanted to say this. Now I think, yeah, Mira, we can play this.
Yeah. So we listened to Palanchu Kamakshi. It's one of the masterpieces, very definitive sort of Madhyamavati, composed by Shama Shastri. Gives you a slightly different feel for Madhyamavati.
Kamakshi Pavani Papashamani Ambapani So Kamakshi Pavani Papashamani Ambapani So Kamakshi Pavani Papashamani Sukama Shivavani Papashamani పాలించు కామాక్షి పావని పాపశమని పాలించు కామాక్షి పావని పాపశమని పాలించు కామాక్షి పావని చాల బహువిధముగా నిన్ను సరవేడు కొనటిన ఎంతేల 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 ఈలాగు చేసేవు వేత ఆదించవే గమే తల్లి ఈలాగు వేత ఆదించవే గమే తల్లి ఈలాగు చేసేవు వేత ఆదించవే గమే నన్ను రిసరి మరిస రిసరి మరిస రిసో రిసో రిసని పామని సరి పామ పసరి స పాపమని సని రిస మరి సని పరి సని పమరి స పారించు కామాక్షి పావని.
Yeah. This sort of gives you an idea of the master that Shama Shastri was, in the sense that, the raga with 5 notes, but the grandeur that he gets onto this Madhyamavati is amazing. I mean, something which is possible by someone like him or Tyagaraja or Dikshidhar. I mean, that's the sort of definitiveness, as Meera said, that Shama Shastri gives to this Madhyamavati. This is quite a popular one among all the great artists. I think MS has a version of this. If I'm not mistaken, even Chemmangudi would have sung this, and the other great people have sung this because of the depth and the intensity that Shama Shastri sort of what do you call, sort of puts into this kriti. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to say. Yeah, Meera.
Yeah, so from a student and listener's perspective, when I said this has some definitive phrases, so so that sort of thing and all is like very, very definitive Madhyamavati. So when we are trying to learn the raga, they say learn kritis like this. So Kamakshi Pavani. Then that all that is like just vintage Madhyamavati. So I mean, the way this has been composed and also the sangadis that have been settled over the ages, it's just very, very beautiful Madhyamavati. So if you would like to get a complete picture, flavor of Madhyamavati, this is one of the kritis that I would suggest to you. And this is taken up for as a main song often with Neraval, which is done, I think, in the Charanam. And the rhythm wise also it is structured quite in a straightforward fashion. So it's quite easy to follow along. So yeah, many people would have sung this. So do check it out. I have added a couple of versions in this playlist. So, okay, let's move on to listen to one more main piece sort of thing in Madhyamavati itself. This one is by Tyagaraja. I have to quickly mention this song is called Ramakatha Sudha. Sudharasa, rather, Ramakatha Sudharasa. In instrumental, there was a Madhyamavati renaissance, if you want to call it that, because among the pentatonics can get, people feel that it can get very repetitive and very boring very quickly. So to give different sort of shades. So I've heard people say, Mohanam, how long will you sing it? Don't take it up as main. Or Madhyamavati, how long will you play? Don't take it up. I mean, there is one section which still thinks that. So and when it comes to an instrument like violin, it becomes doubly hard because you don't have another extra thing like a sahityam or something to aid you there. So Lalgudi sir, I just want to mention that he was particularly important in that renaissance of Madhyamavati during the 60s and 70s. So he has played Ramakatha Sudharasa, which I'll play for you now. Also in the playlist is another song called Devashri Tapastirthapura Nivasa. So it's one of the Lalgudi Pancharatnams of Tyagaraja. So when Tyagaraja visited the town of Lalgudi, which is actually called Tapastirthapuram, he sings 5 songs in that Shiva temple, Saptarishishwara temple there. So one of which is in Madhyamavati. So there is a recording here that I've added of Lalgudi sir and his disciples singing this Kriti. They have released a record of all the 5 that have been sung. This is the Madhyamavati one that I've added. But for now, what we will do is we'll listen to Ramakatha Sudha Rasana. I'll put a small snapshot of the Alapane and then I'll move on to the. That notice that oscillation on the tree. So, all this has become very common in Madhyamavati parlance today, but all this is very new when I listened to it the first time. So, let me move on to the Kriti itself. That's the end of the Pallavi. Bama, Mani, Janaki, Saumitri goes on like that. Yeah, it goes on like that.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to, before Meera analyzes this song also and tells us, what sort of beauty Lalgudi sir has brought into this, I want to talk to you about a couple of other mm, songs of Tyagaraja. One of them is included here, the other I have not included, but I think by the end of this, we'll include that as well. One of the songs which I remember Dr. S. Ramanathan talking about it in one of the lectins that he gave. Now, Meera told us about how the Rishabham is oscillated. So, how much should the oscillation of the Rishabham be? So, Ramanathan had a very beautiful story to tell. There is this song called Alakalalla Ladaga Gani or Ranmuni Etu Pongenu. Alakalu means that Rama's hair, a few strands of it falls on his forehead. So they call that as alakalu. So that is the hair falling on the forehead. Alakal allal adagagani or Ranmuni etu pongeno. Ranmuni means Rajamuni, Vishwamitra. So Rama is accompanying Vishwamitra to the Swayamvara of Sita. At that time, as Rama is walking, his hair is moving. I mean, Allaladagagani. Allalaga means that sort of a movement. Ranmuni Etupongano. And then in the Charanam, in some songs, Tyagaraja sort of describes an incident from some mythology, some Ramayana, something like that. I think last time something Kakasura, so one, I remember we spoke about that, I think in some, no, I'm sorry, there's something else where I remember speaking about it. But in this, he talks about how Muni Kanusaiga Telisi Shivadharununu Viriche Samayamuna Tyagaraja Nutuni Momuna Ranjillu Alakalalla Ladagagani a Ranmuni Etupungana. That's a song. That means Rama doesn't go and take the bow and string it up and break it. He waits for Vishwamitra's permission. So Vishwamitra gives the permission with his eyes. Munu Kanu Saiga Telisi. He goes and when he is breaking that bow, the way the hair on his, that strand on his head was moving, seeing that, what sort of joy did Vishwamitra get? That's the part. So, S. Ramanathan is saying that the Rishabham, that movement should be like the, not too much oscillated, but oscillated like how that alakalu, that strand of hair moves on the head or something like that. It's a very beautiful explanation that he gave on that. That is one song which is interesting if you know the lyrics. The other song is called Nadupai Palikeru Narudu. This
Yeah.
Nadupai Palikeru is actually one of the few songs of Tyagaraja where he talks about some biographical details. His biography, in the sense that he's saying people are telling a lot of bad things about me. Nadupai Palikeru means on me, a lot of things are being told about me. It is said that he filed a case against his brother for some land dispute or something like that. So, in that song, that appears that they say that I put this dispute and all that. So that's another very interesting song from the perspective of Tyagaraja's biography. Of course, musically also it's a very good thing. And there also there's an interesting thing that M.D. Ramanathan used to sing that song, and he used to make a small pun on that. He says, Nadupai Palikeru Narulu Sri Rama Nadupai Palikeru. So he will make it like Sri Ramanadu as if somebody's selling on Ramanathan types, right? So Ramanadu Pai Parikeru, he would do that. That song also is a very good song from Madhyamavati perspective, but it's also interesting and important because it tells about a certain biographical detail of Tyagaraja in his own words. Yeah, I just wanted to say these two things. Meera.
Yeah, Nadupai is also very one of those rare ones in Kandacha Potalam, which is So that sort of thing. It's when I spoke about planning concerts in one of our earlier episodes. So where I said they will try to look at a harmony in terms of, by harmony I mean contrasting, actually contrasting ragas and symmetrically opposite sort of ragas when they are choosing sub main. I spoke about it in a bit detail, but there's one more thing I want to mention in this context because I brought up talas. We also want a variety of talas when we are planning a concert. By variety, I mean a significant number of kritis and compositions, other compositions are in Aditala. So, and like a very significant portion. So, after that, you will find a significant number in Rupakam and Mishra Chapu. So, I mean, so why are you telling us all this? You may wonder. Thing is, it'll set a different tone to, the concert. It'll, when you're singing a very slow piece, say Janani Ninuvina, we've done this, handled this in our Ritigole session in episode 1. It's a slightly slower paced, or take up this Palanchu Kamakshi we heard before, right? It's a slightly slower paced gate, very sort of like majesty, that sort of thing, right? You will precede it with ideally like a fast number, and that's, you have to have all these sorts of things. You may have to want to have like a waltz, like that sort of thing. You may want to set different moods in your, mix them up actually. You don't want everything to be in Adi Talam. You don't want to everything to be too slow in Mishra Chapu. Even for the accompanist, it gives more fun if you mix up the talas for the percussion artists. So, okay, why am I telling such a big story? Katachapo is a very great example when it comes to using as a filler or a sub-main, or it's a very interesting, contrast to Mishra Chapo and Adi Talam, and even to Rupakam. So, but the number of compositions tend to be significantly lower in Katachapo. And when you look for something in a slightly more catchy ragam also, like Madhyamavati, there's hardly anything. So Nadupai is so unique in that aspect. So we all get very excited when some Vidwan sings Nadupai. So just wanted to mention, and also mention this Tala called Kanta Chapu, because we've never, I don't think, mentioned it much before. Anyway, that is an aside. Okay, coming back to Ramakatha Sudha here. So I'll quickly mention the Anupallavi, which is extremely beautiful, how the way they've structured the Sangati. So, Ba Ma Mani Janaki So Nitri. It goes like that, I think. So, in that, he has given these Sangatis very nicely. Ba-ma. That's a very beautiful. It's a very beautiful Madhyamavati. Ba-ma-mani Janaki So Nitri Ba-ma. So it's basically Ramakatha Sudharasa, and it's like I think it means that the story of Rama is like honey or whatever, but it's also like honey Madhyamavati. It's just like soaked in Madhyamavati. All this, the Anupallavi is like the crescendo, in my opinion. It's like the height of beauty in this particular piece. I've also added a vocal piece here, so do check it out. Vintage Madhyamavati, definitely. So yeah, moving on, sir.
Yeah, maybe we'll do Dikshidhar one so that we complete the trinity here. As Meera had mentioned, there are only, I think, I don't remember the exact number, but 24 or 27 ragas, something like that, where all three have composed, like, of course, Bhairavi and Thodi,
Kalyani.
Kalyani, and all that are there. Shankarabaranam, all these are there. Kambudi also is there. The great ragas are there. But other than that, you see that Shama Shastri is not composed in some of the very fairly common ragas like Sahana and Mohanam and all that. So there is only Kannada. I don't think there's any Shama Shastri Kriti. But some things like, Ananda Bhairavi and Riti Gaula and all that. So there are about only 25 or 27. I don't remember the exact number, but in the 20s. That is there. Madhyamavati is one raga where all three have composed as far as the pentatonic goes. Because I don't think Shamash is composed in either Mohanam or in Hingolam. Uh, so it'll be good if we listen to Dikshadhar also in this song. Dharma Samvardhini, maybe we can listen. A wonderful song, actually.
DKP was synonymous with this song, at least as far as I know. So
Yeah, exactly. This is something which
yeah,
no,
sir.
no, as far as I know, she's the one who popularized the song. Actually, I don't see
Yeah.
others. Later on, only others started singing, but before her,
Yeah,
I
now
don't.
I've added a version of Soumya Madams and all. You
Yeah,
can
yeah.
check it out.
But later on, first I think, yeah, as you said,
Correct. Correct.
it was synonymous with DK Patel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
is again clues for Madhyamavati.
yeah, yeah. Actually, my initial Madhyamatis that I used to recognize immediately was always using this song as a basis. And as you could have, all of you would have heard, you can also see the same very serious gait, the movement here of Dikshidhar, the same way that we saw Palin Sukamakshi. And
Yes,
other
sir,
song which
could you repeat that? That kind of got cut off.
okay, no, no. What I meant was that the gait of this
Ah,
song, the majesty that it brings in, is very similar to Palinsu Kamakshi, the seriousness in the song. Another song which is of similar intensity and seriousness is the one which Meera mentioned first, the Deva Sri Tapas Tirtha, Laludi Pancharatnam. That's also an amazingly intense song. So, sort of uh, compared to what is Bhagyada Lakshmi, and then you can see this, there is a lot of change in color, the change in which way the raga moves, and there's a beauty in all these sort of diversity within the raga. Yeah, Mira.
right. Just one couple of quick points. This majesty and things. I mean, I always, being the analytical musician that I tend to be, also immediately look at, okay, what talam is this in? So this is
Correct,
the
correct,
Rupaka. Rupaka, a slow gate also is taken.
correct.
So it automatically blends itself into that magisterial, if that is a word at all. But yeah, yeah. So another thing is Dharma Samvardhini, if I recall correctly, is the deity in
Lalgudi,
Tiruvayyaru,
Tiruvayar, Tiruvayar. Correct, correct.
which is Tyagaraja's
Yeah,
main place where he
yes.
stayed. So it's interesting that Dikshithar came and sang there. So people say they must have met and also, but we
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
know.
Actually, I've been to that place, Tiruvayar. If you come
Right.
out of Tyagaraja's house, just look on the left, you'll see the wall of this temple.
Correct,
Actually,
correct.
then the end of the street. Actually, yeah.
So the even I went during the Tyagaraja
Oh, yeah,
Aradhana.
yeah, Aradhana type. Yeah, yeah.
So one nice thing that time was there's a heavy crowd in the Aradhana section. It's everybody is there basically. But I went with my mom. I said, let's go to the temple. Okay, we finished the Pancharatnam things and then we went to the temple. The very interesting thing was, though the Aradhana was happening, there was another group within the temple which was conducting a mini Aradhana by themselves.
Yeah.
So
I see.
they were singing some other songs of Tyagaraja and all that. So it is, the Tyagaraja is like revered in so many ways. There, it's so beautiful. But yeah, just wanted to mention that. But yeah, Dharma Samvardhani is in that Trivaya temple. So yeah, so moving on, we listened to a couple of Papanasam Shivans. I'll play both of them in succession so that we can wrap those off quickly. Sharvana Baba Guhane, main songs in Tamil, when you think about that, this is one of those. Kavava is another, Sharvana Baba Guhane is another one. Then Kartikeya Gange, though that is in Todi, Kavava is in Varali, this one is in Madhyamavati. So when we are again planning concerts, these are all very handy. Okay, it's a Tamil audience, it's a more what to say, general audience, not a high sabha level. You don't have to please anybody, you have to kind of play to the audience. In that case, you kind of prefer songs like Papanasam Shivan, Sharana Babu. So
षण्मुखने दयापरने शरवण षण्मुखने दयापरने शरवण षण्मुखने दयापरने षण्मुखने दयापरन चरण कमलं शरणं यल्लु चरण कमलं शरणं यल्लु चरण कमलं शरणं यल्लु चरण कमलं शरणं यल्लु पद भजिक्यू करुण मालमर्कन इरब पद भजिक्यू करुण मालमर्कन इरब पद भजिक्यू करुण मालमर्कन इरब पद भजिक्यू करुण मालमर्कन
yes.
Yeah, I can play the other one also. I think the Karpagame, it is composed on the DT or Mylapore in Chennai. That's another very popular Papanasam Shivam song in this raga.
Yeah, so it's sung often, not often, always towards the end of the concert, and you will notice that many people precede it with a Viritam. We spoke about Viritams, Shlokams, you can find it in our channel earlier. So this is a classic example of singing a very evocative Viritam, Shlokam sort of thing in Tamil. And then, so we listen to a short part of the Viritam, then I'll move to the, you will understand what I mean when I say that. Notice that the Viritam is not starting in Madhyamavati. See if you can identify the raga.
Tabale பூத்தவளே பூத்தவளே பூத்தவளே.
Yeah. So he's taken up something in relation to Karpagam, the Karpagambal, the goddess, and he's set it to. He's improvising on that basically in another raga. But eventually he'll move on to Madhyamavati. Still in the same.
உனது திருநாமங்களை உனது திருநாமங்களை நாமங்களை பாடி பாடி உருகி பரவசமிகு அப்பாங்கு நீ எனக்கருள்வாய். காடனமே பொழில் சூழ் திருமயிலாபுரி கற்பகமே கண் பாரா.
This is the start of the song.
கற்பகமே கண் பாராய் கற்பகமே கருணை கண் பாராய் கற்பகமே கருணை கண் பாராய் கற்பகமே கருணை கண் பாராய் கற்பகமே கருணை கண் பாராய் கற்பகமே. சிற்பரயோகியர் சித்தர்கள் ஞானியர் சிற்பரயோகியர் சித்தர்கள் ஞானியர் சிற்பரயோகியர் சித்தர்கள் ஞானியர் சிற்பரயோகியர் சித்தர்கள் ஞானியர் திருவுடையடியவள் கருது வரமுதவும் திருமகளும் தலைமகளும் வரவு திருமயிலை கற்பகமே திருவுடையடியவள் கருது வரமுதவும் திருமகளும் தலைமகளும் வரவு திருமயிலை கற்பகமே கருணை கழ்வாராய் கற்பகமே. சத்து சிதானந்தமதாய் சகல உயிர் உயிராயவள் சத்து சிதானந்தமதாய் சகல உயிர் உயிராயவள் தத்துவமஸ்யாதி மகாவாக்கிய தத்பரவஸ்து தத்துவமஸ்யாதி மகாவாக்கிய தத்பரவஸ்து சத்துவ குணமொடு பக்தி பவபதாபமுபாப் அரையிம்மையில் வரச தன சமூக சம்பத்து பரசதன சமூக சம்பத்து மயில் வரசதன சமூக சம்பத்து இம்மையில் வரசதன சமூக சம்பத்தொடு மதுமயில் அதிசய இன்பமும் தரும் கற்பகமே கருணை கழ்வாராய் கற்பகமே.
Yeah, you would have noticed that the structure of this kriti is slightly different, right? So you would see a lot of Madhyamakala phrases. In fact, the whole Charanam is in Madhyamakalam. You all would know what's Madhyamakalam. If not, you can listen to our session on Dikshidhar, which was part of the first season. So the Madhyamakala pieces dominate here in this particular composition. Yeah, Meera.
Yeah, that's pretty much one of the important things to point really for this song. It's a small song. And like you must have noticed that he played around with the words and a bit, and it also has a very interesting edupa, that sense. So it gives a lot of scope for the mridangist to play along with that. It's an odd sort of beginning, so it gives a lot of fun element for the percussionists, and very attractive song. You will notice the mridangist really joyously playing along in this, and every other rendition will be like that only. I can guarantee that. All right, so
we'll
probably move on, sir.
I thought we'll probably move on to the lighter music segment. We call the film segment. Madhyamavati, has been used a lot in films. But before we get into Madhyamavati and films, what I would request Meera to tell us is that, see, Madhyamavati has a lot of common with certain other ragas. Uh, One of them being Sri Ragam, where it shares the Arohana, which Meera will explain in detail. Then there is this ragam called Brindana Saranga. So when you listen to a lot of film kritis, not film songs, you will find that there seems to be a slight mix of these two, Brindana Saranga and Madhyamati. Somebody will say this is Madhyamati, somebody will say Brindana Saranga. Though if you hear it in a Carnatic setting, the difference is quite clear. But in a film setting, as we said earlier, they are the mood of the song is much more important, and therefore they tend to sometimes mix these two together. Then there's another ragam, not often heard nowadays in the concert, called Manirang, which is again a very uh, popular ragam within the Carnatic circles. That also sounds very close to Madhyamati. Meera, maybe you can just quickly tell us, how this
Yeah.
difference is before we go to the film segment.
Right. So, in a lot of cases, amongst these ragas, right, the gamakas and the sort of placement of how the no overall how the notes move kind of make a difference when it comes to how one would go about singing or differentiating between these. To think in very absolute terms. So that sort of thing doesn't necessarily come into film music. So hence, so if you take a song, there's always a bit of not sure, you're not very sure about whether it's Madhyamavati or Brindavani. So whereas when you take up Carnatic, you have to give the gamakam in order to be able to, sing Madhyamavati as Madhyamavati and not sound like anything else. So one important thing that I was taught when learning Madhyamavati is they used to say the ma tookanam. What is that? What does that mean? You have to kind of lift up the ma. So, sari ma pa ni sari ma pa ma, that ma pa ma pa pa ni sa ni pa ma pa pa. It's not pa ma pa. It's pa ma pa. It takes a bit of a dip and then comes up like a spring. So Rima pani sa, not Rima pani sa, not so much. Rima pa gives that proper Madhyamavati feel. So when you're singing Sri Ragam, Endaro Mahanabhavulu is the famous one. Sarima pani sa, sani pa mari gari sa. That's how it moves. Shri Varalakshmi, Endaro Mahanabhavulu and all that. Re gari sa ni pa. In that you usually don't do sarima pa ni. If you do that, it'll start giving you that Madhyamavati feel. These sort of things, how would you? You can't do so much of this in film music, right? So it's always dicey in films. So if you take Brindavani, it's a bit more confusing. Brindavani, Brindavana Saranga, there are many histories to it. Let's not get into it. So in a very simple term, sa re ma pa ni sa, higher ni sa ni, lower ni when coming. It's not symmetrical like Madhyamavati. Sa re ma pa ni sa ni pa ma ni sa. Very famous Rangapura Vihara, Kali Yoga Varadan, all that you may have heard. Many are there. Very beautiful ragam, but sometimes I feel it may be overshadowed by Madhyamavati. But yeah, so these two are very similar. And Brindavani doesn't have that ma, sa, re, ma, pa. Then you can't sing ni, sa, it won't go correctly. So that's one more. Then Manirangu, Mamava Pattabhirama is a very famous song. Like Sir said, it's become very rare these days, but sa, re, ma, pa, ni, sa, re, pa, ma, ga, re, sa. Rima Vamagari sa, Rima Pani Pamagari sa. Again, very close to Shri also. It's not Ri Gari sa, but Pamagari sa, Ni Pamagari sa, Pani sa, Ni Pamagari sa. So that's how it moves. Do check out those ragams also. It's fun.
Yeah.
I mentioned some of the famous pieces. You can Google them up.
Yeah,
Yeah, over to you.
I just wanted to make one small observation. If you see here, between Madhyamavati, Sri Ragam, and Manirang, the Arohanam is the same. Sarima Panisa only. The Avarohanam changes, especially in Sri Ragam. You don't come straight. Garisa, Sarima. So Marisa, we don't come, we come as Rigarisa. And the Ga gets added in the Avarohanam of Maniran. So there is something called as Vakra in character in Sri Ragam. And Sri Ragam also has another phrase which
Yeah.
makes it.
Sani Padani Bamare Garisa.
That's exactly the one. That Sani Padani is generally not sung often enough.
Dikshita.
In Dikshidhar only it comes. In Tyagaraja it doesn't come. But in Dikshidhar's Sani Padani, which you see, when people want to give Sri Ragam in film music, they definitely use that Sani Padani so that there is no confusion at all. That never happens in Madhyamavati. Karuna Chaivan Nindu, Tamasam Krishna, and all that song, which is in that movie called Ganam, Dakshinamurti Swami. I don't know if it's his tune or it's standard tune, but there you can hear a lot of that Sani Padani phrases. Yeah, we can start this with this song from the movie Swatimutyam called Suvi Suvi Subalama. It's also a Tamil version is also available. I don't remember the Tamil movie's name. What is the movie name? I don't know. Anyway,
Swati Mutyam. Typical. Ayyo, therla sir.
Sipikul Mut, correct.
Okay. Correct.
Yeah, I think this gives you a good Madhyamati. In fact, as you would have seen, she says it's a Madhyamati and it proceeds. In fact, yeah, this
Sorry.
is this is a song which has a slightly folkish flavor, which was the same that in Suvi Suvi also. Just want to give you the folk flavor of this. Just possibly we can play just the Charanam Mira once and then we can go to, yeah.
Charanam, sir, not Pallavi.
No, Pallavi itself. Yeah, you can go ahead.
பதினங்கொத்தி குருகு குருகு குருகுங்குருவே அவிழக்கூட்டை சிறகிட்டாட்டி சிறிதிஞ்சிலமாய் சமையும் குருவே தேவஞ்சாரி தஞ்சுண்டில் பாட்டொன்றுண்டோ முத்தாரம் குத்தி கல்லொன்றுண்டோ காக்கரும்பிக்கப்பம் கதலிக்கும் வேலாடு கருகத்தும் வேல் பாடு கதலிக்கும் வேலாடு கருகத்தும் வேல் பாடு கதிரும் கொத்தி பதிரும் கொத்தி குருகு குருகு குருகும் குருவி பவிழக்கூட்டு சிறகிட்டாட்டி சிறுகிஞ்சிலமாய் சமையும் குருவி வருமாசகளே இளநீர் குளிராய் மனசில் பெய்திறந்தோ
கண்ணி மலர் காவடியாய் நினைக்கும் மாதிரிலே
ஆதிர பூங்காவில் நெளிக்கும் பொன்னாதிர பூங்காற்றே நான் நெஞ்சோடம் புன்னாரத்தாரட்டும்
ஆரிராரம் பாடும் ஆவாரம் பூடும் ஆரிராரம் பாடும் ஆவாரம் பூடும்
கதிரங்குத்தி பதிரங்குத்தி
Yeah, I think we can stop. Yeah. So this is a sort of a more folkish Brindana Saranga. No, I think we may not have the time, Meera, to play this. There's another one on Bhumi Gite. The thing is, as we said earlier in Panturali, in Madhyamavati also, Ilayaraja has done extraordinary work on it. Quite a few of them we have put here, a lot of which we have not put also here. And then also the old songs like Pennun Rikanden, which is again Madhyamavati Brindana Saranga type of thing. The Chandanathil Nalla Vasam Eduthu, and later on Rahman song that Kunjum Mainakale and all of them. Again, you will find all the caveats that we told earlier. So I think to end our this season, let's take up a song which is generally sung for Ayyappa for him to sleep in the night. It's like a Mangalam for the day, right? That's a very, very popular number. That's Arivarasanam of Jesudas. I mean, I don't think there's anybody in Kerala wouldn't know this song. And In fact, not only Kerala, I think any Ayyappa Bhakta across India would know this song. So maybe they can use that. Meera, want to say anything else before we play that? Because we may get cut off at that time.
No, this is iconic song.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's listen to it.
Yeah, let's
And do
listen to
check
it.
out the playlist that for Madhyamavati that we have linked, which has both classical and film music in it. Uh, yeah, we'll listen to Harivaras.
हरिवरासनम् विश्वमोहनम् हरिदधीश्वरम् आराध्यपादुकम् हरिविमर्दनम् नित्यनर्तनम् हरिहरात्मजम् देवमाश्रये शरणमय्यप्पा स्वामी शरणमय्यप्पा शरणमय्यप्पा स्वामी शरणमय्यप्पा शरणकीर्तनम् भक्तमानसम् भरणलोलुपम् नर्तनालसम् अरुणभासुरम् भूतनायकम् हरिहरात्मजम् देवमाश्रये शरणमय्यप्पा स्वामी शरणमय्यप्पा शरणमय्यप्पा स्वामी शरणमय्यप्पा प्रणयसत्यकम् प्राणनायकम् प्रणतकल्पकम् सुप्रभाञ्जितम् प्रणवमन्दिरम् कीर्तनप्रियम् हरिहरात्मजम् देवमाश्रये शरणमय्यप्पा स्वामी शरणमय्यप्पा शरणमय्यप्पा स्वामी शरणमय्यप्पा तुरगवाहनम् सुन्दराननम् वरगदायुधम् वेदवर्णितम् गुरुकृपाकरम् कीर्तनप्रियम् हरिहरात्मजम् देवमाश्रये शरणमय्यप्पा स्वामी शरणमय्यप्पा शरणमय्यप्पा स्वामी शरणमय्यप्पा त्रिभुवनार्चितम् देवतात्मकम् त्रिनयनम् प्रभुम् दिव्यदेशिकम् त्रिदशपूजितम् चिन्तितप्रदम् हरिहरात्मजम् देवमाश्रये
We can stop here. Meera.
शरणमय्यप्पा
Yeah, so let me thank all of you on behalf, on my behalf and Meera's behalf for being through with us on the second season of Carnatic 101. Probably a few months later down the line, we'll start the third season and hope you are able to actually enjoy the whole season. Yeah, Meera, anything else that you want to say?
Nothing more than regularly listen to these. Go back and listen to them. And thank you for being with us. Hopefully, we'll be back soon. Yeah, sir.
Yeah, goodbye. So, see you all soon in season 3.
Bye.